So please go ahead. Please follow the instructions that Danielle told us. Remember, you can have the interpretation. So please go ahead in the signal of the interpretation and change your language. Please, Danielle, confirm that you are hearing well and you are okay in Spanish version. Can you put some tick or something? Okay, good, excellent, thank you. Welcome to this session. This is a special session, Elsevier Live, because this session we have some guests, important guests for us, and let me introduce them. First of all, I will introduce Kristin. Kristin Blye is a marketing professional with a degree in communication, several industry certification, and 14 years of experience creating and managing direct to customer acquisition, retention, and loyalty programs. She joined Elsevier in 2015 as the e-commerce marketing manager and moved to content marketer for librarian and researcher solutions in October 2020. In her current role, I think it's very important, Kristin is implementing retention strategies to increase customer satisfaction, maintain loyalty, and promote the value of our services and the social impact of our services work. So welcome, Kristin. Also, we will have another guest, that is Ferati. Is a business professional with a degree in business information technology. He joined Elsevier in 2015 and initially spent time working across various teams in Mendeley as a business analyst. As of November 2019, he moved into his current role of product manager for Mendeley Reference Manager. guides the team towards building the best reference manager in the world by planning regular product updates that have been designed to improve our users' workflows and their overall experience with Mendeley Reference Manager. Also welcome, Iri, and welcome to be here. We're very glad to have you here. Also, we will have in the call Marijn van Haaren. Hope I pronounced correctly. Marijn is a product manager for the citation offering from Mendeley. He has been working with the product area within Elsevier for over 2 years, joining the Mendeley team in 2019. His previous experience saw him specializing in other key industries where he specialized in strategies around SEO, user acquisition, and user conversion. In his current role, Marijn spent time speaking with users to establish and execute the product strategy for Mendeley citation capabilities. And finally, Matt Stratford. Matt is our product manager, and Matt is a software product manager who leads cross-functional teams to build useful and level software tools. Before joining Elsevier in 2016, he worked in engineering teams in a number of different industries, including banking and financial services, and he spent his early working life as a foreign language teacher in Japan. He's a passion for responsible towards our natural environment and is known inside and outside the company for his energy and commitment to use the power of the business to drive good in the world. In his current role at Mendeley, Matt is working to help researchers in frontline to save time in reviewing scholarly literature and publishing new insights. So you can see that we have a very special guest, and we are very glad to have here this guest. Thank you very much to be here, guys. And please, Matt and Kristin, go ahead with the presentation.
Thank you very much. I've just taken my screen sharing off just for a minute to have a chance to speak with you face to face. We'd like to thank you for your time today. It's a real pleasure to be back here to speak at Elsevier Live. This is our second time to speak recently. We also spoke here in October 2020. And I'm very pleased today to have two of my different colleagues along with me today. As Karen described, we have Iri and Marijn, who will be pleased to share with you some updates on the products that they are responsible for here in Mendeley. What we're going to cover today is just briefly an overview of the transition arrangements that were announced in November. You may have received an email about that, and we'd like to spend a couple of minutes talking about that in the beginning. Then we would like to share with you some updates that we have been working on over the past 5 months since we last spoke to you, and we hope that you will enjoy seeing the new updates that we've got for you. And finally, we will have a long period where we will be able to field and answer, hopefully, any questions that you do have. We remember from last time that our audience in Latin America is full of great questions, and we are really happy to be able to provide this forum to help answer some of the queries that you have. So I hope you will enjoy the session today. I'm going to resume my screen share. Hopefully everybody can see that now. So we sent a communication in November, which had a message from our Senior Vice President, Rose Blye. In this announcement, we talked about refocusing on the core value of Mendeley. I just wanted to spend a minute to explain why that is. Our mission here at Mendeley is to make tools that make life really easy for researchers. And every day, more or less, we speak to our end user customers. We have people in user testing sessions, for instance. We have people sending in the customer feedback. We have our customer consultants like Haaren engaging with our customers every day. And we have a lot of information about what it is that researchers value most. And ultimately, we made a strategic decision to refocus on what it is that is most important to you. And what is most important to you is that Mendeley is the best reference manager in the world. You told us that Mendeley is highly valued to discover and collect and import reference literature. You told us that researchers and students love our software to organize their collections, to complete metadata. And you told us that you wish it was even better. You told us that being able to cite papers accurately and easily is an evergreen need that never goes away. And you wish that this pain can be alleviated more effectively. And so we have made the decision that we are going to put these use cases at the heart of our investment going forward. On the other hand, we have seen that in past years, the academic social networking space has changed a lot. It's a very different world than when Mendeley started to make investments in academic social networking all those years ago. And you told us that for you, Mendeley is less core to academic social networking these days than it is to reference management. And so we made the difficult decision to retire some of our products, the Mendeley feed, the public groups, and the Mendeley profile among them. This means that we can have capacity to keep investing in what you told us is the most important thing for you, to have the best reference manager in the world. And so we want to help simplify your workflow with Mendeley. One final word on this, Mendeley is around for the long term. We have, we can see ourselves, the chatter that occurs in the community, the worry about, oh, maybe what is next to come. I really want to assure you that the reason we made these changes to our product offerings is so that we can focus on providing the value to you with reference management for the long term. We're committed to helping researchers address their challenges with building their knowledge, with being personally organized, with being in control, with efficiently preparing articles for submission to journals. And we want to keep helping you to save time and save effort in your work day to day. I hope that helps to understand the context of some of the changes that happened with Mendeley. And for those of you who did not receive the messaging which went out in November, I hope that this message has been welcome to you, that we'll be refocusing on the core. I wouldn't like to spend much more time on it right now, but if you have any more questions, then obviously we will be happy to take those in the Q&A session at the end. But for now, I'd like to move on to the demos. And so I'm going to hand over to my colleague Marijn, who will be demoing some functionality from Mendeley Cite. Over to you, Marijn.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I'm happy to take over the screen share. Thanks. So hello, everyone. My name is Marijn. I'm the product manager for Cite, and I've been at Elsevier, as mentioned before, since April 2019. And I've been working on Mendeley Cite team since. Now, today, I'll be showing you a couple of things. I want to just quickly show those of you who are unfamiliar with Cite what Mendeley Cite is. I've also got an exclusive look at something we're really excited to release. This is the first time it's ever been shown to the public, so that's going to be quite exciting. And then I'd like to talk about the future plans for the Mendeley Cite as well. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Cite, I'd like to talk a bit about what the difference is between Mendeley Desktop and the citation offering with Mendeley Desktop and Mendeley Cite. Now, I hope most of you will be familiar with Mendeley Desktop, and I hope that you're also enjoying using that software. And that leads to a question: why did we decide to build a new app if Mendeley Desktop citation plugin works so well? Well, it came from rebuilding of the new reference manager. When we started the rebuild of the reference manager, we knew we had to rebuild the citation tool as well. And why was that? Well, we spent some time interviewing a lot of users like yourselves, and we got to understand that there were quite a few things that users really wanted from their citation tool that they weren't getting. I'd like to kind of just touch on some of those, and we can have a look at how we've resolved that with Mendeley Cite in the actual live demo. Now, 3 of those key points that I'm going to talk about today are that users, the first one is that users wanted a standalone product. And when I say standalone product, I mean a product that works without any other Mendeley software being installed. So this now works fully standalone. Mendeley Cite works without Mendeley Desktop being installed. Now, previously, if you wanted to cite in Word with the old plugin, you would have to open Mendeley Desktop and make sure Mendeley Desktop was installed on the PC, or the machine that you're working on. And we've got rid of that, and Mendeley Desktop is not required anymore. Mendeley Cite works fully standalone. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. We also got to learn that users really wanted support for newer versions of Word, such as Office 365, Word Online. Now, Mendeley Desktop couldn't support these types of technology because of the technology.
Sorry, Marijn. We are not seeing your screen, so I'm not sure if you are sharing your screen.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen.
We don't see it yet. So if you can, can try it again.
Yeah, it should work. Can you see it?
Now.
Yeah, okay, great.
I think so, yeah. Just.
Great, does that work?
Yes, now we are looking at. Thank you.
And yeah, I'm just talking anyway, so I wasn't showing anything beyond this slide anyway. So yeah, so just back to where we were. Users wanted support for Office 365 and new versions of Word. Now, what that meant is users wanted to see versions of Word such as Office Online and Office 365. Now, the issue there is that the technology that Mendeley Desktop citation plugin was built on couldn't support these new versions of Word. So what we've done is we've decided to build Mendeley Cite on brand new technology that will support all of these new versions of Word. So you can actually use Mendeley Cite on Word Online. You can use it on iPad as well, which is really cool. And the technology we've used for this has really helped us to future-proof our citation tool. And this is why we can support more platforms such as Word Online. And also a reason why our competitors can't support these new versions of Word just yet, because they haven't made that journey to the new version of the technology yet. And this leads to another point, and the last point I want to make is that users really wanted software that was more reliable and trustworthy. And what I mean by that is that, sometimes users were experiencing issues where the citation plugin wasn't working anymore and they didn't know why. Sometimes it would break, at the critical moment, the day before you want to submit your work, which is always really stressful. So we've made sure that we are updating the software every 2 weeks instead of every 6 months like we were doing previously. And we're also making sure that anything that we do find, any issues such like bugs and things like that, fixed much quicker. As an example, a couple of weeks ago, we managed to fix a bug that was in the product within about 4 hours, and we had a release and fixed it within about 4 hours. So this is something we couldn't do previously. So we really want to make sure that we make a really usable and trustworthy product. So just to wrap up those points, the first thing was users wanted a product that works on a standalone, a product that works on newer platforms, and also a product that is more trustworthy and reliable. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick demo of how that works and what that looks like. So I've got here a document that I've made previously, and I will show you what Mendeley Cite looks like when I open it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Mendeley Cite, and notice that I do not have anything else. I don't have Mendeley Desktop, I don't have Mendeley Reference Manager open. I can click this now. What you'll see is it loads in the document itself. It doesn't require Mendeley Desktop to be open, and this will sign me straight in. And what it'll show me now is my library. What I want you to notice here as well is that I'm also using Office 365. So this is a new platform that we can now support. This also works in Word Online and on iPad. Now what we can see here is Mendeley Cite is opened. We've got our library of items here. I'm just going to quickly show you what citing with this software looks like. So I click into the document and I can select my reference. I'll select 2 for this example, and then I just press Insert Citation. Now what happens is there you can see the citations have been inserted into the document. I can add another one. Let's say I add a third one. And there I'll see, what you can see is that the numbers of the citations have been automatically generated. I can actually go in and edit one and add another one. What you'll see is that numbers automatically generate again. So this is really what a citation manager is all about. It does all the formatting and the stressful formatting of the citations for you. So all you need to do is select where you want your references to appear. Now I can also add a bibliography by pressing More, Insert Bibliography, and it will let me know that it's going to insert where my cursor is. And there you go. It's all done for me automatically. This is really great. And this is exactly what we want with Mendeley Cite to be, like really simple to use and work on a new platform. I'd also like to quickly show you changing the citation style. So I've got IEEE selected right now. Let's have a look for something Latin America. Economic Commission of Latin America. I can just change this, update, and you'll see the citations automatically update for you. That really is pretty much all that Cite does. It's really simple, and we wanted to keep it that way. So it just, all you need to do is open it, Cite, and everything's done for you. It's not complicated, it's not heavy. Yeah, that's really exciting for me to show you that. But the main thing I want to show you today is the new product, new feature that we're about to release. I'm really excited to show you this. It's something that we've been working on for several months now. I'm going to open it up here. Now, this is a document that contains citations from the Mendeley Desktop Citation plugin. Now, I'm going to show you what we call the document conversion tool. And what this will do is it will convert your Mendeley Desktop citations to work with Mendeley Cite. Now, previously users of Mendeley Desktop couldn't move their documents over to Mendeley Cite because the technology, as I mentioned before, is different, and those citations wouldn't work with Mendeley Cite. Some of you may have experienced this problem yourself. So I'd like to just show you what this new feature does and how it will work. So this is the first time we've ever shown it to the public. It's actually available to a very, very small set of users. So some of you may have seen it already, but yeah, I'll show you anyway how this will work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open Mendeley Cite just like I did normally. And you can see these citations are made with Mendeley Desktop because they are grayed out. I'm going to highlight them. So what will happen is I'll see a little page appear up to let me know, hey, we've seen some citations made with Mendeley Desktop. Now, it will give me a bit of information about why they need to convert this. And if you want some more information or you have some questions, you can always go to the support link here. Now, for the sake of this demo, we know what we want to do. We want to convert the document. So we're just going to press continue. Now it'll tell us, it'll give us a warning about making a copy of our document. Now we've made sure that this process, the conversion of your file should be totally fine and the processes won't damage your document. We've made sure and we've tested it thoroughly, so we are very confident that this is a very safe process. But we always say just in case, just to make an extra copy. Now this is actually a copy of a document, so I'm going to say I've made a copy. And it will now show me an option to select my style. So it's detected that this document was made using APA 7th. I'm going to change it to IEEE. We'll use this citation style. It will then convert the document. And when I press use the citation style, I'll get the final screen just to say we're ready to go. Please don't interact with the document, and it will do the conversion for me. So I'm going to press update document now. I just want you to watch the document, what happens, and then see how long it takes and just see the process. So here we go, I've pressed update and it's converting the citations. I get a little counter. It should tell me how far through it is. And there we go, just to convert the bibliography now. And there we go. Now I've got a document that works with Mendeley Cite that was made using Mendeley Desktop. Now I can click into this citation and make some edits like I can normally do. And I can just use it as I would normally use Mendeley Cite. And I can start carrying on with an existing document and carry on working on it. So this is something we're really proud to release. This should be released in a couple of weeks. We've been working really hard at this for several months, and yeah, we're really confident that this is going to really open up Mendeley Cite to those users who haven't been able to jump from Mendeley Desktop yet. Yeah, so that's that. I'm going to finish the visual demo and I'm just going to show you now what we've got coming up for Mendeley Cite. So hopefully you can see the presentation. I'd like to talk, what's coming soon. As you can see, the cool banner at the top, we've got search your collections coming very soon. So this is a feature we've been working on as well in the background, and we expect this to be available very soon. We know a lot of users have been asking for the ability to search your collections within Mendeley Cite. So that'll be available within the products very soon. And you can see what it will look like here below. These are the designs that the amazing design team at Mendeley have done. And this is what you can expect to see the product to look like. We're also working on improving the search. So Mendeley Cite search, we're going to release next week a really great improvement to the search functionality of Cite. So you'll be able to search your references much better. We've also got coming up very soon the stable release of Mendeley Cite. As we're still in beta, we've been working hard at making sure the product is stable and reliable. We're really close to that point where we're going to say, yeah, we've figured out the core problems, we've made it work really well, and we've got all the features that need to be in there to be able to classify the product as stable. And further on from that, we're also considering how we can look at delivering a Google Docs application. And we're also looking at ways we can make Mendeley Cite more of a mini reference manager to make sure you can do all your reference management, your core reference manager, just within Word itself. So that's something we're really excited to look into as well. Now that's the end of the Mendeley Cite demo. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly or in the Q&A box, and I'll try and get back to as many of them as possible. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Iri now, who will be going through the Mendeley Reference Manager.
Thank you, Marijn. Okay, just show my. Okay, so hi everyone. Over on the Mendeley Reference Manager, we've been looking at how we can improve existing workflows within the product and bringing new features to improve your overall experience. So let's just get straight into the demos. Okay, so here we've got Mendeley Reference Manager open. And firstly, I'm just going to give you a bit of context around the feature that I'll be showing. So what I'll be demonstrating is called Get PDF. Get PDF allows you to retrieve over 25 million Mendeley hosted open access PDFs with one click. So it removes all the hassle of having to find and attach the PDF yourself, giving you more time to do what's important, research. So let me show you how that works. Okay, so we've got Mendeley Reference Manager open here. On the top left, we have the Add New button. When clicking into this button, we're shown 3 different options. The second option is the one we want to click here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that opens the manual entry panel. At the top of the panel, you'll see a DOI input field. We can populate this with any DOI, and then it will retrieve all the metadata that we're after. So I'm going to just, oh, that's the wrong link. Bear with me one sec. Bear with me 1 second whilst I get the DOI. So essentially what this does is pulls all the information from any DOI link that you paste into the reference manager through that manual panel. Let me just quickly copy that. Okay. So I've now got a DOI, apologies for that. So once we paste it in, it pulls all that information. And as you can see, we now have a title, author, journal, and every other attribute that we're after. We can then go ahead and click Add Entry. And as you can see now, that is appearing at the top of the library. If we click into this reference, it'll open our info panel. And as some of you may have already noticed, there's a new button there that says Get PDF. The next step here is to simply click the Get PDF button. And what this is now going to do in the background is retrieve the PDF, import it into your library, and attach it to this specific reference. From here, you can now read the PDF as you would any other PDF, annotate it, highlight it, organize it, do with it whatever you want with it from there onwards. So that's our Get PDF feature. It's an amazing time saver, and it's super easy to use. So next, what I'll be showing is a preview of our new group management. What we've done with group management is simplify the way you interact with the group's functionality whilst bringing the full collaborative experience to the Mendeley Reference Manager product. So as mentioned, what I'm about to show you is a preview, so it's currently only in beta, but this will be released to everyone in our next regular update. Okay, so on the left-hand side here, we've got private groups, and at the bottom of the list, we have an input field that says new group. All we need to do is click into that and then type in the name of our new group, hit enter, and we're now the proud owner of a new group. So if we click into that, you'll see it's empty, but with everything on Mendeley Reference Manager, we're super simple. So we can just go ahead into our all references and start populating that new group. We can also drag in references from outside our personal collection into the group too, but that's just an example of what you can do there to populate it. Okay, so now we've got a brand new group. We've got a couple of references here. The next stage would be to invite members so we can start collaborating together. When right-clicking on any group, you're shown these brand new context menu. Within there, you've got rename group. Rename group is pretty self-explanatory. You click it and you're allowed to then rename the group as long as you've got the correct permissions to do so. And I'll touch on permissions later on in the demo. You then have delete group. So if you're an owner of the group, you can go ahead and delete that. That then removes the group from every member's library, and it also deletes every reference within the group. And then the bottom there, we've got new collection. This works similar to those of you who have used sub-collections in personal part of the library. So what you can do here is create new collections and then organize your group references into different collections to just organize your thoughts a bit easier. But in this part of the demo, I'm going to show you the manage group. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. That then takes you to the specific view page for that group that you've right-clicked on.
Sorry, Ilirjan. Could you please zoom a bit your screen so the image is get clear for the attendees? It's still a bit small, right? Yeah.
Here,
It's still pretty small.
Resolution of your screen, it will lower it. It will make it display bigger. If you want to stop sharing just briefly.
1 second. Yes.
This is a live experiment, I must say, but.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Let me just alter that quickly. Unfortunately, I can't find where I would change resolution.
It's under System Preferences Displays, I think.
Yeah. I'm in there, but and
then click Scaled.
Scaled. Okay, I'll drop down to this.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is any better. Is that any better?
That's better.
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, cool. So go back into manage groups here, and you're shown this panel. Okay. So from within this panel, it just details when the group was created, the capacity of group, how many members you currently have within the group. But most importantly, there's that invite members button. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Once you're on this screen, it details, how many invitations you've got, limit-wise, and there's also an input field at the bottom to enter different email addresses. So for example, I could just set out ferati@me.com, go ahead and hit the send invites button. And then we'll see this pending invites tab. From here, you can manage the invitation. So you can either resend the invitation in case the user missed it, or you can just cancel the invitation if you no longer want that particular person joining your group. If we go back to the main group screen, but which you can do through the back to groups button at the top, you'll see not only a list of all the groups that you're a member of, but you'll also see pending invites. This section is outlined to show you what groups you personally have been invited to by other members of Mendeley. So you have two options here. You can either accept or decline your membership to that specific group. And that pretty much summarizes the invitations aspects of group management. So I'm just going to go on to member management now. So for this example, we've got Astrophysics 101. So I'm going to click into that group. And as you can see, we already have quite a few members in this group. And besides each member, we have a dotted menu where we can carry out different actions. Given that we've got Marijn here twice, I think it makes sense to at least remove one of them. So if we click on the action menu here, at the bottom option here, we've got remove from group. And as long, again, as you've got the correct permissions, you can carry out these actions. So, okay, that's one Marijn gone and the other one left. Unfortunately, he's no longer an admin of the group, so we can go ahead and action the second Marijn account and promote him to an admin. And just like that, it gives you some power on who can do what within a group. If you go back to the main screen, we also have a link here to our help guides. So if you want better clarification on different permissions for each role, it's all outlined within the help guides alongside everything else I've shown you up until this point. So yeah, that's the group management. Once you've got all the management out of the way, you can take advantage of the power of our real-time sync and the collaboration efforts within a group. So I've jumped back into Astrophysics group. We have a reference here at the top that's flagged for collaborating on. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that to collaborate with colleagues. We're now into the reader, and from here I can create highlights as usual. So we'll just create a new highlight here. We can create a new sticky note here. Check this out. And we should have some new highlights being created by Marijn in the background in real time. Unfortunately, Okay, so we'll move along, but yeah, so here we go, there we go. So we've got a new sticky note here, and if we click into that, we've got Marijn saying, I like this. So that's the power of real-time sync used within groups collaborations. So, okay, and that's groups management functionality and a bit of a demo for the real-time sync, overall giving you more control of your groups within Mendeley Reference Manager to improve your overall collaboration experience. So let me just go now to what's coming up next for our upcoming releases. We've been looking at how best to improve retrieving metadata and references. So firstly, look up metadata. So in the future release, you'll see this feature appear. It's demonstrated here in the right side. It's a snapshot of what the design will look like. And essentially this feature allows Mendeley Reference Manager to retrieve and populate all metadata fields with the latest data. The way this will work is by clicking the magnifying glass icon that will display besides the DOI per reference. And then that will then look up the latest data. So this is great if you've missed any fields whilst manually entering, or even if you've made some incorrect edits along the way. One click is all you need to then ensure you've got the correct metadata. Alongside that, we've been looking to expand our filtering feature. So some of you may have already noticed or seen, or even used the filtering option that allows you to filter down your results by author. So what we'll be bringing in a future release is filtering by tags. So the same way you can apply authors as a filter, you'll be able to apply tags as a filter, allowing you to refine your library so that you're only showing references that have that tag you specifically selected. Again, greatly simplifying the aspect of finding your references, especially as it can be used alongside other features like search and sorting. So overall, a great addition that will save you more time when you're trying to find references so that you can focus on your research. And lastly, but just as important, you'll see improvements being made to the search within Mendeley Reference Manager. One of these improvements will be including more fields to search against. So for example, in a future release, when you search inside Mendeley Reference Manager for an identifier, such as DOI or ISBN, we will display references that match those fields. And then over time, we'll continue to add more and more fields to our search, whilst ensuring that the performance of the search itself remains high. So again, just another improvement to help find your references quickly, so you can focus on the most important thing, which is your research. And that's it for key updates on Mendeley Reference Manager. Hand over to Kristin. Just stop.
Thank you. So I will share my screen. I will be talking about the advisor program. So we have an advocacy program called the Advisor Community. It's over 5,000 members in over 130 countries. Our advisors are experienced Mendeley users. They use their knowledge and passion to promote good reference management skills by hosting trainings and facilitating outreach. There's some key factors in becoming a Mendeley advisor, including increasing your storage, a certificate of recognition, an online badge that you can use in your LinkedIn profile, as well as access to our LinkedIn community group, which is completely exclusive for advisors. You can also have exclusive training with Mendeley features and the ability to provide feedback to our product team. We are constantly growing our community, and people can submit their credentials at mendeley.com to become an advisor. So Matt, that's pretty much it what we have for advisors.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Kristin. So I guess this is the part where we head towards the Q&A. I can see a lot of open questions in the chat, and unfortunately, I must remind you that my Spanish is really not too good. really liable to misunderstand the question or answer something very wrongly. So I'm going to rely on Laura to translate these for us, and we'll be very happy to take those.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the speakers. And we have, as you mentioned, we have a lot of questions, and we will try to answer them. The first question, it was, well, in the beginning of the conversation. So why is not possible to install in Office 365, and in some computers they can install and others not? We are not sure if we are talking about Mendeley. We have Mendeley Cite. I think it's Mendeley Cite, but we can comment on both. Maybe Kristin, I think.
I think Marijn will be able to take this question.
Yeah, I can talk to this point. So Mendeley Cite works on Office 365. We do see sometimes that institutions will have the ability to acquire add-ins from the add-in store blocked, which just means you just can't install them. This is really easy to resolve. We have a really nice FAQ, which will explain how you need to resolve this issue. So we can give you that FAQ, and then all you need to do is go to your admin of your institution, and they'll be able to help you install Cite onto your machine. For the existing Mendeley desktop citation plugin, unfortunately, because of the technology that it's built on, we can't officially support Office 365 with the Mendeley desktop citation plugin. We do see users who it does work for, so sometimes it will work, but we can't guarantee it does work. It's one of the reasons why we built Mendeley Cite, so that you could use it on Office 365, Office Online. But I will get that FAQ and I will pass it on to the team so you can share it, so it can be shared with you.
Excellent, thank you. Then we have another question that is, until when will Mendeley desktop support? For which versions of MS Office does the new version not work? So I think it's the same related, right?
Yeah, it's a split question. I'll take the Mendeley desktop question. So we will continue to support Mendeley desktop for as long as there is need for it. So we have no immediate plans to retire Mendeley desktop at all. We have more than 1.6 million monthly active users using Mendeley desktop very happily, and we would like to keep those customers happy. So as you can see, we are adding features week after week to Mendeley Reference Manager, and more it is becoming competitive with being able to replace Mendeley desktop. But until the majority of our users tell us that they never use desktop anymore because everything is now taken care of with the new reference manager, then we will continue to support it.
Thank you, Matt.
With respect to the second part of the question about which versions of Microsoft Word, again, I have to defer to Marijn.
Yeah, so I can answer that question. Mendeley Cite works on all versions of Word from Word and Office 2016 and above. So that's Office 365, Word 2016, Office 2016, Word Online. And it will also work for all future versions of Word as well, which is another important point, that you can, yeah, it will work on, if Microsoft release a new version of Office or Word, it will work on that as well.
Excellent. Okay, the next question is, we are in the part of Mendeley Cite, so I think this is related to that. It says that to install this app, can you only do with the accounts related with Microsoft Download, or if there is another plugin for word processors, for other word processors?
You want to take?
Yeah, sure. So currently we only have, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the question is, do we support more than just Word? Yeah, so currently we only have a plugin for Microsoft Word. We've been working hard to make sure we've got a really great product for Microsoft. And we want to get to that point first, but we are definitely looking at expanding beyond Microsoft Word. Especially, you know, some users might not have access to Microsoft Word, so Google Docs, are also things we're looking at in the future. But if there are any people who are using specific platforms and they want Mendeley Cite available to them on that platform, please let us know, because that information is very useful for us to understand, you know, what platforms are our users using and what would they like to use Cite on. So if you do have a platform that you want this plugin to be available on, let the team know.
And just to confirm that there's no concrete plan for a Google Docs port right now, right? It's being evaluated. Is that the correct status?
Yeah, exactly. We're evaluating where the value and the possibilities for us lie currently.
Excellent, thank you. We have two questions about offline that in the past, they don't need a internet connection to use the Mendeley. So now in this version, do you need to be online always?
Iri, would you like to demo this maybe?
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds to set it up.
Ad hoc demo, but I think showing is better than telling, that's all.
I can also give context from the Mendeley Cite side. You can use Mendeley Cite offline, but when you start Mendeley Cite, Microsoft unfortunately requires an internet connection for you to start the plugin. Now we're working with Microsoft to try and make that a thing so you don't need an internet connection. So for Mendeley Cite currently you do need an initial internet connection, but once it's open, you don't need to be connected to the internet anymore.
As for Mendeley Reference Manager, yep, it's offline first. So even if you're on the web version and at some point your connection drops, you'll be able to continue using it. Obviously, I can't switch my Wi-Fi off, otherwise I'll end up leaving the call. So instead, what I'm doing here is just changing the network settings within the browser so that it acts as if I'm offline. Okay. And as you can see here in the top right, you'll now see that the sync status shows up as offline, but we can continue using the reference manager. So for example, in our personal collections, write out a new one, hit enter, and that's a new collection created. And as long as you've got references, PDFs that are cached, you can continue reading offline too. On Mendeley Desktop, you can make entire collections offline as well. So even if you're on the go and have no connection, you'll be able to continue reading.
And you can make your entire collection offline as well, can't you?
Yeah, that's correct on desktop.
Yeah.
And you are showing your screen, and also the other question is about how to quote a chapter from a book that is with a APA version. Is this possible?
So Mendeley has a reference type called book chapter. So you are able to create references of this type within Mendeley, yes. And then you can choose the citation version that you require from Mendeley Cite when you come to need to cite it. If you, for some reason, need to change the citation style, you can do that in Mendeley Cite very straightforwardly.
Excellent, thank you. Talking about the language, they mentioned that in the past, they have this button to select the language, that if in this version, you can select the language also. Is the question from Jenny.
I don't fully understand the question, I'm afraid. In Mendeley Desktop, the interface is not translated into Spanish. It's only available in English. It's the same for Mendeley Reference Manager at the moment, although it's under review. So again, if this is an important feature for you, please do write to us and tell us why this will be useful for you. In the second part of the question is about the view citation style in the list, right? So I think Iri will be able to speak to the relative priority of this on the roadmap.
Excellent. Yes, about the Spanish, they said that for the elements like the citation and reference in the paragraph or the data is appear in Spanish. So that's why they are asking. And as you mentioned, they went to view, then citation style, and then more styles. So with that, they can configure the language.
Iri, do you have any information about the view as citation style option?
So that's currently not possible within Mendeley Reference Manager. I'm assuming you mean the table view itself, changing this style from what it currently looks like to different citation styles. That is on the roadmap for other parts of aspects, so like other customizations that we want to bring to the reference manager. So yeah.
So not currently, but it's under consideration, basically.
Under consideration, yep.
Thank you. There's a question about if there is any new about support Mendeley desktop app for Mac OS, Catalina, and newer.
Iri, do you have any information about the Catalina support for desktop?
Mendeley Reference Manager desktop is supported by Catalina. But if they're referring to Mendeley desktop as in the older product, I'd have to double check and get an FAQ on that one.
Leave that one with us. I'll check back in and see if we can answer this on this call.
Excellent, thank you. Another question, how is reference standard updated?
Sorry, your connection broke up slightly there.
Sorry, how is the reference standard updated?
The reference standard updated?
That's a question from Jairo.
I see. I think this may be referring to how can you update the references in a Word document? Maybe if it's possible to clarify if that's the question, and then Marijn may be able to demo that functionality from Mendeley Cite.
Yeah, maybe the question regards how is the citation style, how are they updated when they have updates to them? If we can clarify the question, yeah, I'll be able to answer.
Yeah, would
yes,
you like?
Please.
Would you like to demo that functionality, Marijn, if it's possible, to drop you in it as well?
Yeah, okay, I can demo changing the citation style. I did quickly demo that earlier, but I can show that again. Let me just get this ready. Okay, so I've got my document open here. To change the citation style, I click in citation styles and I select another style here. I've already got a list of my 10 most recent styles as well. So I can choose one of those and I just press update style and it will update this for me. As you can see, it's updated the document. I can also change to one that I search for, IEEE, and I can select that the same way. And I can also add custom styles, which is here, it's a button at the top. And I just need to paste the URL into there. So if I have a custom style from my university or one that I've made myself, I can just upload it. So that's super easy and straightforward to do. If the question was regarding when a citation style is updated itself, we pull that information from an open source directory. So that's constantly being updated by the open source community. So we get really, really up-to-date versions all the time. And we refresh that every day. So we'll get the latest versions that are available in the open source community. So you should always have the latest version.
Excellent. They are asking about the difference if there is any change about how many groups and how many persons can join a group, a private group, in talking about the free Mendeley and the institutional edition.
So on the free version of Mendeley Reference Manager within the groups. You can own 5 groups, and those groups can have up to 25 members. With the premium or the institutional edition groups, you can have up to 100 members per group and over 1,000 groups that you can own.
Thank you. They're talking about how, when is ready these new versions, and if these apply for only for web or for all the versions. But you already mentioned, but if you want to add,
sure.
ready, right?
So
it's live.
Yeah. So the features that I've demonstrated, both the Get PDF and the groups, they're both going to be, well, Get PDF is already available on both desktop and web. Groups will be available in the coming weeks on both, again, Mendeley Reference Manager desktop and Mendeley Reference Manager web version.
Yeah, great. And from Mendeley site, the Mendeley site is available already. The update regarding the document conversion step, that should be released at some point this month. I can't give a definite date yet, but we think by the end of the month you should be able to access it. And for the collections, which I also showed, we expect that to be out in the next few months as well, the next couple of months, let's say next 2 months.
Hiro mentioned about the updates because he sent the last question. How do you update the reference standard? And I think we already mentioned that, right?
Yeah, we covered that, yes.
Okay, we covered, right. Ana Lorena said that she's on an advisor group, and he had the privilege for questions. It's not complete, sorry. But the good thing is that she belongs to advisor group, right?
Yeah, so I'll let Kristin answer this, but I'm sure she'll encourage everybody to join the advisor group. Go ahead, Kristin.
Right. So our LinkedIn advisor group replaced our public group that was sunsetted or decommissioned a few months ago on Mendeley.com. It's free and easy to apply. I don't know if the question is asking about private groups, though. I saw that as well.
Yeah, the LinkedIn group is private, though, right? It's the replacement for the.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Understood. Yeah. Yep. It's a private group and it's exclusively for Mendeley advisors. You have to request access.
It's exclusively for Mendeley advisors, but also Marijn and Iri and I are there, so we'll also have
with the Mendeley team as well, so you can benefit from the interactions and conversations. I can share the advisor link if I have any advisors are interested.
Mm-hmm. And maybe this is not a question here, but I received that question in the past, that how long it takes if they submit their to be a part of the group. So
to become an advisor, it can take up to 30 days to approve. To become a member of the advisor LinkedIn group, it can take 1 to 2 days. It's very quick.
Excellent, thank you. Well, another question from Mario Guadalupe. What is the impact of metadata in science in Latin America, mainly in Mexico?
If Mario could maybe get a hold of us, we can share the contact details of us through the side channel somehow, and then it would be great to understand a bit more detail what this question is about. I don't think we have the information to answer this market specific question with the information we have at hand, I'm afraid. Yeah, maybe we can share more details about how to find it in Scopus or even in Cyber, right? This data. Mm-hmm. We have another question about the interaction with Chrome, and how about other Internet Explorer? Is the function correctly for Mendeley? It's limited. So Mendeley supports the last 2 versions of Evergreen browsers, which is essentially Google Chrome Mozilla Firefox, and Microsoft Edge, and also the Apple Safari. We do have some support for Microsoft Internet Explorer 11 as well. Yeah, so it will basically work with Microsoft Internet Explorer 11. We would advise if it's possible to upgrade your browser, however, since that is approaching the end of life after several extensions, in fact. Yeah, we would advise using one of those 4 supported browsers. In terms of the Mendeley Web Importer plugin specifically as well, it's the product that's close to my heart because we spend a lot of time working on it. That browser extension is available for Google Chrome, Firefox, and for Edge. We do know that people are very excited to have an Apple Safari version of this plugin. I would say watch this space. I cannot talk much about it, but it is an interesting thing at the moment. We are looking at it.
Yes. But I think it's a very interesting question here that Angel is asking, because maybe we I don't know if we have an answer, but he mentioned about the principal differentiator or the benefits from Mendeley between other competitors, other well, the competition about this.
Yeah. So what our users tell us, and I guess I'll rotate among each of the product managers here to give their view. But what our users tell us is that they welcome that Mendeley is available on their platform of choice. They welcome that with the Mendeley Reference Manager, they always have the most up-to-date version, and they get updates to it regularly, every 2 weeks instead of once a year. People tell us that they appreciate the reading functionality of Mendeley. The PDF reader in particular is rich compared with other reference managers. Yeah, and there are other aspects which people are proud of, which I will let the other product managers talk to so that I don't take all the conversation here. Iri,
Yep.
What do you think?
So I'd say another standout thing about the new product is the lack of learning curve. If you're wanting to switch from desktop to web, it's seamless and they're identical. So there's no having to learn 2 different products. You can switch to and from with ease. And as Matt mentioned, with the support of all the different browsers, it's a really nice product if you're using on the go. And if your connection drops, as demonstrated earlier, you can continue working.
Yeah, the ability to use it the same on the web and the desktop client is really good. Yeah, I agree. Marijn, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
I would back that up as well. A Mendeley site was built to be identical on web and desktop as well, so you can seamlessly switch between the 2. One of the really cool things about Cite is that we were one of the first to use the new technology that was available to us. So a lot of our competitors haven't built their citation plugins and tools on this new software. And that means we can do a lot of cool stuff that they can't yet, such as support iPad. We're the only citation management tool that is available on iPad in the market currently. But we also work on Word Online. We also work on new versions of Word. And that means we can do a lot more. And we have a really good relationship with Microsoft, so we can do some really cool things with new technology that's available to us. They've still got to make that jump as well.
Yeah, and I guess finally I would add that when you consider our premium storage offerings and collaboration offerings with MIE, let's say, you'll see that we have a very competitive offer with the insights that you get around usage as well at the institutional level. And if you're interested in that, please talk to customer consultants like yourself, of course. But also, our free offering is very strong as well, right? Unlike some of our competitors, and we will always have a strong free offering for people who just want to take care of their personal reference management needs.
They talk about the functionality with, between or the link about Zotero to import and export reference. Is this new version a continue with that functionality?
So I know that we will always be offering it as a company, the ability to import and export from Zotero. I don't know just yet if the import and export functionality has been built out in the new reference manager, but I will let Iri talk to that.
Yep. So there's no direct link between the 2, although at any point, if you wish to switch from Zotero to Mendeley, you can export your references in multiple different extensions such as BibTeX, RIS, or XML. You can then take that file and import it into the new Mendeley Reference Manager with ease, and vice versa. If you're feeling like you need to export anything out to Mendeley Reference Manager, we support XML, RIS, and BibTeX.
Yeah, and I'd like to underline that we have zero interest in locking anybody into one platform. You are free to move your data. It's your right as a consumer, and it's also something that we would like to support in the spirit of open science.
Thank you. There are two questions or three about the groups. I think maybe we can go deeper about that. How it works, what is the possibilities for the administrators for the group, if they can insert reference or note. So I don't know if we can go deeper on groups, not only about the members, but also how the capabilities for each inside the group.
Sure. So all groups are now private. What that means is any reference that you add to a group will be shared with every member. Each member, whatever their role within the group, has capability to read the reference, edit the reference, and if choose to delete the reference. The difference between members and admins is that admins have more control over invitations. So for example, if I'm a member of a group and invited Matt to the group, if Marijn is a member, an admin, he can cancel that invitation. So they have a slight more advantage in terms of monitoring which invitations go out and which ones remain and which ones cancel. At present, that's the only key difference between members and admins. And then the differences between admins and owners within a group is that an owner has more control over promotions within the group, being able to delete the group. Yeah, those are the key standout ones, being able to delete the group and promote others.
I'd like to raise as well that at the moment we're engaging in discovery in how we can make the groups work even better within the institutional context. So if there are particular use cases that librarians on the call, for instance, would like to facilitate using the Mendeley groups, then please get in touch and we would love to hear from you about that, because we obviously always are thinking about how we can improve the offering and make it work harder for you.
And also that's why it's very good, this program, right? That Kristin mentioned about to be a Mendeley Advisor. I think it's very good to be in contact with you and give that feedback about working with Mendeley. Mm-hmm. We have here about to download the complement in Word, and the page obviously is asking for an email, and they are asking if they want to work in a public PC, how they work with that, with the email, or if they need to put an email or he can only work like that. I think it's very important, the email, right?
So if you're talking about working on a public machine, then the recommendation I think would be to access Mendeley through the web browser, first of all. You need to have an email address to create an account. If you don't create an account, then we cannot remember which references you're stored against your account. So it's really necessary. But you can easily sign in and use Mendeley on the web. Use it with, again, Office 365 on the web as well. Let's say on a public computer, load in the Mendeley site there and use that. So you can easily complete your citation journey just through the web browser. And then if it's a public computer, when you're finished, make sure to sign out of your accounts and reset the browser history and so on. And then you will be completely clean for the next user of the public computer to use.
Thank you. We have a question about, I think that they are talking about the Mendeley, because he said that he registered and she doesn't receive an email about the registration. I think it's about the program, Kristin. So I think It's about that, what they have to do about if they register and they don't receive an email in the advisory program.
It takes about 30 days. We are working on setting up an auto response email with additional information. They can certainly reach out to me after this call. I'm happy to help them and look up their registration process.
Well, I think that we have a lot of questions here. Let me go deeper. Okay, what is the page, or do we have any tutorial updated in our repository about I don't know, tutorial or training sessions that with the new versions?
Yeah, so I can take this. We're actually at the moment revising our training and support materials. We hear often that to get an updated version of this material is important to you. It's something that will be happening soon, not tomorrow, but it's underway, the review, and we hope to have updated materials out within a reasonable time. And the materials that are out, there are a lot of existing guides which are accurate for desktop in particular. The support center is also very up to date and contains all of the latest information. You'll also find that through the advisor community, various different institutions have produced their own material customized for their own particular situation, but often it can be repurposed for use in your situation as well. So I do recommend that you approach the community and for help with that. But just to reiterate, we are definitely looking at updating our materials, and you can expect to hear something about this in the coming month.
Thank you. Also adding that we as Latin America, we are creating some material, tutorials in Spanish. So please wait for them. I don't know, maybe in the next week we can launch it. We already have it, some material. Maybe it's not as complete as in English that Matt and the team will have, but at least the basic things I think we will have there. So please review our YouTube channel in order to get that. Okay, another question about that they are concerned about to switch to Reference Manager, and they are concerned about if they are going to lose the information, or how they ensure that they are going to continue working and not lose their work.
Yeah, I guess I can let Iri respond to this as he's closest to it, but he will be happy to give you a positive answer here.
Yeah, so everything is safe. Given that we've got real-time sync on the new product, as long as you sync manually on the old product, everything will automatically transfer to the new one. So you won't have to recreate any of your collections. All your references will be there, any existing annotations, general notes. Everything that you had on the previous product will be on the new one automatically. Just remember to sync your last changes on Mendeley Desktop.
Yeah, we are operating in the Mendeley cloud for many years now, and the new reference manager uses the same data. So as Iri says, so long as your data is synced to the cloud, which it will be automatically, you just need to click that sync button on desktop, and then it will all be there for you when you come to Reference Manager.
Also, that's why it's important to add the email, right? And especially in Mexico, I recommend, and all Latin America, Colombia, and all the region, we always recommend to use the institutional email, because it's easier to join the institutional benefits that maybe you have. So
yes, absolutely.
They also asking if you are thinking about to get a citation from other special or different ways, that tweets, that YouTube videos or something like that.
Yeah, so we hear sometimes from our humanities scholars in new media that they are looking to be able to have custom reference types beyond the the offerings that we already have. So we have book and thesis and conference proceedings and so on, different types. We are monitoring demand for that. We haven't firmly committed to it, but if it's something that you would like to see, then please get in touch. For the time being, the best thing to do for this is to use the generic type to cover reference types which are not already present within Reference Manager.
Thank you. This is more about some points about the platform, because they said what happened with the documents icon on Mendeley desktop, and also it's that if you activate the option to search information in notes of PDF. So I think it's more related to Go in the platform, right?
Iri, could you comment on the PDF search?
The PDF part I can gather, yep. So currently, as mentioned, we're looking to add more fields to our search index. Currently, notes isn't part of that index. And the reason it takes some time to add these additional fields is that the more things you search against, the more performance you require for it to still maintain that level of speed. So it's a balancing act of adding just the right amount of different fields whilst maintaining a high performance, but it's definitely something that we'll be looking at, with the first thing being adding identifiers, as mentioned, to the search index. So if you paste DOIs or ISBNs, those search results will return, and then in the future, we'll start adding additional things like nodes and all the other types of identifiers that we don't currently have in the search index.
And the PDF full text is the corpus, the text of the PDF is not currently indexed within Mendeley Reference Manager, right? The new one.
No, it's not currently indexed. The PDF text itself is not, but if you're wanting to find a specific section within the PDF itself, as long as you're in the reader, you'll be able to search the PDF. There's a search icon at the top of the reader toolbar.
Yeah, I hope that answers the question. So you can search the PDF when it's open. But, yeah.
Good. They mentioned that they cannot install the plugin for Word in Mac. Do you have this?
So I think this is a specific case of the general case of installation issues. So again, if we can share the FAQ with the audience, then this person will be able to follow these steps, or take the IT administrator to follow. And it's very simple to allow the installation to proceed. There's no differences between Mac and Windows or Linux in terms of making it available.
And there is a comment about what we mentioned in the beginning about Catalina iOS. I think it says it's so sad that the old version is not supported in Catalina. We are having a lot of problems, but the new version, right? As I understand, the new version is accepting, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's good. So change to the new version in order to have that. Okay. So I think that they want a little bit more details about the program. What is the benefit? I don't know if we can give more details. Kristin, I think you already give information. But for example, maybe as you know some members for this community, you can give the insight that they give you in some moments about belonging to this community.
Sure. Yeah. So we have a feature called the Advisor of the Month, which you can find at the Mendeley blog. I can provide that link as well. And we just asked some of our prominent members a few questions, how they started, what they were using prior to Mendeley, what they like about it, what they would tell other researchers. Overwhelmingly, we always hear how Mendeley helps them help humanity in a community. So it's just really cheerful and eye-opening to understand how this platform really accentuates their research and propels it within their community. Researchers and advisors themselves, they are so enthusiastic about the program that they opt to go and teach other people in their community and share the knowledge. They answer questions. They are in our LinkedIn group. They're learning about new features firsthand. They're interacting with their product team, myself, our other coordinator in the group. And it's really inspiring to understand how much they care about the program in order to then disperse that information within their community.
Yeah, for sure. And within that program as well, when you sign up, you know, as a thank you for participating and providing us with insight and information into what it is that you want, and what your library customers are saying to you, your library students and patrons and researchers. There's some swag. I don't know the Spanish for swag, but there's some, you know, gear that you can get, t-shirts and things like this. And we give you extra storage space in your personal account just as a thank you for being a part of the community.
Right, right. And advisors and non-advisors are encouraged to register their events at Mendeley.com. Like Matt said, you will then be able to request merchandise, Mendeley branded merchandise for your events, for yourself and for your participants.
And they say that if there is any restriction to belong to this program.
There are no restrictions. We're kind of just keeping everyone honest and holding up to them that they are so enthusiastic about Mendeley that they will continue learning about the new features and spreading the knowledge of good reference management skills to the community.
Thank you. Yes, I think it's a very good program, and we are going to launch like more communication about this program to please ask to all of you to join this program, because in the region we have some, but there are not a lot, and I'm sure that we have a lot of enthusiastic Mendeley users that can join the community. So yes. Let's wait for this year to have these communications to join. Thank you, Kristin. We have another question about institutional repositories, that if we need any API for Mendeley to recognize the metadata.
Oh, that's a great question. So it depends on what you have in your repository, to be blunt. So if you have scholarly articles that are tagged up with a DOI, for instance, then as Iri demonstrated, we have the locate complete metadata. And when you add that to your library, in fact, the metadata will be located and retrieved for that. If you're talking about green open access, for instance, or author deposited manuscripts or something along these lines, then you will want your institutional repository to be tagged with the appropriate HTML meta tags to describe the content to get the best match. So there are standards around for this meta tagging, for instance, the high wirepress standards or the Dublin core standards. There's an FAQ on this topic that I can share. And if you tag up your repository content appropriately, then the Mendeley Web Importer will read those fields correctly and then be able to import the reference as you would expect.
Excellent, thank you. Well, we have a lot of questions about functionality, about how they maybe reference, how they got it, and I think that you can follow us in our YouTube channel. You will find a new tutorials about these type of things. So maybe with that you can solve the questions about that. And also, if you have something additional, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are very happy to help to all of you. Also, Karen, Tatiana, and me. We can solve any issues. It's very important, and I saw some mentions about what is the difference between Mendeley free and institutional edition. So I think it's important that you verify with your institution what type of benefit do you have. Don't go alone if you are not sure what is the benefit from your institution. It's better that you confirm, and also use your institutional email, because I think it's the best way to very quickly join to the institutional group and gain the benefits for institutional edition. So I don't know if you have any final words for this session, Mar or any Ferati, Marijn, Kristin.
Just again, thank you so much for giving us the chance to speak with you. It's always a pleasure. It's always a great challenge for us to answer the many detailed questions that you have in the Q&A. Thank you so much for bringing them to us and keeping us on our toes. We will look forward to hopefully joining you again soon. We are continuously working on the Mendeley products. As we said, we are refocused on core reference management. And we will look to introduce to you more features that are going to make your life easier in a few months' time.
Yeah, I'd like to add the same, Matt. If anyone wants to get a hold of us directly through the products, you can always give us feedback within the products as well. Within Mendeley site, you can do that here, and just show you. You can click these 3 dots, and it'll take you to a link. If you go give feedback, you'll be taken to a web page where you can give your thoughts and ideas, feedback to us, and that goes directly to me. In the web importer and the reference manager, there's something very similar, and that'll go directly to the product managers. And we read that every day, and we make sure that we take it into account and consider it within our product roadmap. So yeah, please feel free to reach us there as well.
Thanks, Marijn.
Do you have any comments you'd like to add, Iri or Kristin?
I have no additional comments, but we will be sharing the advisor LinkedIn group link, as well as the community Mendeley inbox URL or email address in the event that you have questions about your advisor status.
Thank you a lot, Kristin.
All right, I think that's it from us.
Ferati, I don't know if you have additional comments.
It would just be echoing what Matt and Marijn already said. I can quickly just share my screen just so that you're familiar with where the feedback is within MRM. So in the top right where your name is displayed, click on the drop down and then give feedback. Once you click on that, you'll be shown a short form. And again, just any ideas or suggestions that you have, anything that you'd like to see brought to the product, feel free to fill that in. And as Marijn mentioned, I read those every day and we prioritize what's next to come in the roadmap in general based off of that as well.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Really, we really appreciate your time and all the community. I'm sure that is very interesting in the information that you gave us today. So thank you very much again. And please to the participants, please remember that you are going to receive an email with the instructions to get the certificate of this session. And also in this link, you can also find some links, the presentation and our contact. So thank you very much to all. Thank you for this presentation and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.